गुड मॉर्निंग। आप सभी का स्वागत एक बार फिर से। मंगलवार का दिन है, November 24, 2015। रियल स्टेट एंड मोर विद राजीव राजपाल। I'm sure it's going to be more and more energy, more and more caffeinated. Why? Because we have a special guest with us. So all those people who are around right here with us, you are listening to EBC Radio Network, 97.1 HD2 New York, 100.7 FM, 104.7 FM, and 1170. You can also hear us on our webpage, which is ebcmusic.com. That is www.ebcmusic.com. Click live radio. You can surely hear us. Our studio number for everybody is 732-297-9886. और समय की घड़ी मुझे बोल रही है 8:08। बिल्कुल राइट टाइम फॉर अस टू हैव राजीव राजपाल राइट विथ मी। गुड मॉर्निंग राजीव, हाउ आर यू?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing really good. और मुझे और अच्छा लग रहा है why? Because we have a guest with us, and would you like to introduce our special guest on the show?
Absolutely, yes. I'm honored to have a very dear friend of mine, and a gentleman that we spent a lot of time when I was traveling India through the national conference. Farook Mahmood. He is the chair of Silver Line Group there, which is involved in multiple businesses in real estate development. You name it, it's there. He also chairs an agency called FIAPSI, which is almost a NGO recognized by United Nations worldwide, involved with real estate and helping people get into homes around the world. I mean, the gentleman is basically pretty much all over the world, everywhere, belongs to multiple organizations around the world.
So quite known person with us.
Yeah, I mean, last week if I was looking at his pictures and being recognized at the Mexican Parliament.
Oh.
So, pretty much everywhere. Let's say hello to Farook
hello,
this
Mr.
morning.
Farook. This is Anubha, and it's really a pleasure to have you on EBC Radio Network.
Hi, Anu. Hi, Raj. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I've heard so many things. I really feel so glad to have you here, and our listeners would love to talk to you, and they always feel, they have to have a home there, back home, and they want to know more and more about how it is in India and how different the real estate is from India and here in US.
Yeah, I mean, and also just to give you a quick glimpse of Mr. Farook's network in India alone, he's in multiple cities. His offices are all over the country, from Calcutta to Mumbai to Delhi to Hyderabad to Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, you name it. He's in every part of the country.
Any city.
No, he tries not to.
Okay.
He's got his footprint pretty much all over India.
Oh, that's very good.
So,
very good.
Hundreds of people employed all over the country.
People can ask any city question.
Yeah, we can almost,
So we can cover the whole India there.
So what we'll do is I have some questions for him, and what we'll do is go into some of those things, and then we'll open the lines if somebody has questions as they are listening and driving by. We'll take some calls at the later end of the show.
That seems to be
so. Mr. Farook, my first question is: in the last couple of days, we've seen some law and guidelines changes coming towards from the federal governments in India, which is talking about making life a little bit easier for people to own properties, buy properties, move money. Do you want to touch a little bit upon that?
Sure, Raj. Well, as I've been traveling for the past fortnight, a lot has happened in India, and a lot of positive things have happened in India. The new government has taken this initiative of bringing in foreign direct investment. Earlier, only non-resident Indians and people of Indian origin were allowed to buy property. Foreigners were also allowed to buy property, but with a special permission from the Reserve Bank of India, and it had restrictions on repatriation of money, period of holding investments into India.
Right.
Now, those have been relaxed, and it's a lot better now, and it's more or less 100% open to anybody who's wanting to buy real estate into India.
Okay.
And they can also repatriate their amount in 3 years' time with the entire profit. So this is a very positive step.
That's really nice.
In the right direction. And now anybody from any part of the world can buy property into India, which is a fabulous thing. It was earlier a closed economy.
Correct. Especially for foreigners.
Yeah.
I mean,
specifically foreigners wanting to buy property. Any global show that I would go to, people would ask me, can we buy and invest in India? And I had to tell them that, listen, you need to go through a single window agency, a Reserve Bank of India clearance is required. You need to make sure that, you have to show a bona fide why you need to buy this property.
Right.
And when you sell it, you have to if you're repatriating, your capital can be repatriated at a certain period of time. And then your profits would have to stay in India for 5 to 10 years, depending on what investment you had made. But all these laws have now been changed. You can buy property right now, and if you can sell it within 3 years, take away your profits, take away your capital gains, zero restrictions. So that's a positive step. And
that's wonderful.
This is a message that I think most people who have been interested in India.
Yeah, that's a welcoming message for everybody.
A very good opportunity for them to understand that now they can sell it. People who are in the business of real estate in the United States can now promote the Indian market.
Correct.
This would be a right opportunity.
Yeah, I think we have a decent amount of listeners that are realtors in New Jersey area actually in this show.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been approached by a few realtors says, I listen to your show in the morning, so it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So I mean, the realtors that are listening also should start looking into it, and we'll talk more about it as the days to come along. So with all the new guidelines, new laws relaxed, all the new things that are happening, what type of properties one should be looking at to get the optimum returns? I mean, there's two reasons people buy. One is basically either they want to go back home or they travel back and forth and live and where.
Yeah.
But the other part of where is I think it's a very big portion is the investment part. And what type of properties they should be buying with different type of investments, if you can touch on that.
Okay. First of all, I would like to touch upon by saying that there is no economy in the world like the Indian economy right now.
Oh, wow.
Growth about 7.5 to 7.75%. I think next year might even be better. Under the current global constraints, the global situation that we are facing right now, this is a fabulous growth.
Wow. Oh, absolutely. I think Indian economy is supposed to overtake Chinese economy, actually.
Absolutely.
GDP is supposed to overtake within the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. It's a phenomenal, rapidly growing economy.
Yeah.
The second aspect is we have a weak rupee vis-a-vis the dollar and the pound and the euro, which is a positive thing for international people to come in and buy, because you can buy more for your dollars and pounds and your euros in across the globe. And what you should buy is most Indians people of Indian origin first like to buy a residence back home. And whenever they reach there, they say, let's now go and buy home back in India, from whichever state, city, or village that he or she comes in, would want to go and buy a home there to establish himself, to say that, if he's already not holding a property, that he or she would like to go and buy a home there. The feeling of patriotism where, I must own my home in my home country. The second thing is, if one has done that, then there's 2-3 options that one can look at. One option is residential, which is buildings under construction, which give you a pretty good, decent return on investment. One, the capital appreciation is pretty good. Second is you can either flip the property through in your process, and doing that you can make money. And the second is return on investment on commercial property leased out to top American or multinational companies such as Intel, IBM, Motorola, Honeywell, Microsoft, Apple, I mean, you name it, including Google. Now, what happens is, some developers lease out 1 million square feet to these big companies, and you can buy into it as small as even 1,000 square feet. So you don't have to be a big-time investor. You can invest a couple of $100,000, a couple of million, depending on what exactly you want to invest in. And this opens out a lot of things right now, where commercial investment yield is around 8 to 9.5% annually. And in commercial also, there's grades. Grade A tenant, the yields are a little lesser. Grade B tenant yields are a little more. And the most amount of returns on retail property leased out to tenants. So that gives you around 9.5%.
Right.
So this is a very good thing, and it's across India. You can choose to be in Bangalore, that's my home city. You can choose to be in Ahmedabad, or you can choose to be in Hyderabad or Chennai or Pune or Mumbai, wherever you are. These slots and options are available to you.
Great.
So how to look for those, properties? You have to be some place where you can, you're putting in right places. Like people get little skeptical about going there because they might not end up buying the right property. So how to look for those properties?
Okay. The first thing I would tell your listeners and to you is buyer beware should be the philosophy. It can be my cousin, it can be my aunt, my uncle, whoever it is. In all good intention, they would take you there. But till the proper due diligence has not been done by a proper, reputed advocate, do not put your money into any investment of any sort in India.
Right.
He might be the best developer, the best broker, the best, but make sure you follow a single cardinal principle of due diligence.
Okay.
Once this due diligence is done and you have the report, it doesn't matter to me if you pay $100 more, $100 less, because it's only appreciation that you're going to make a little more or a little less, and the overall picture doesn't make that much of a difference. So don't compromise on the due diligence. Make sure that the due diligence is done properly. The property that you're buying is absolutely legal, clear marketable title, no violations, no legal implications. So this should be the question that my answer again on this particular thing would be irrespective of it even being offered by your parent.
Okay.
Because they would do it in good faith sometimes, saying that, oh, I know so-and-so and so-and-so knows so-and-so. It's very good if you know so-and-so, but all I'm saying is follow the pure process of due diligence with anybody who you do it with.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes sense because a lot of times, could be the best friend you have, except, you don't know what they've built, what they've done. Exactly.
Yeah.
Unintentionally, they would, take you to a wrong person.
Absolutely. No, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So now, we've seen in different cities, some cities have not done as well, others have done a lot better. We've seen, Bangalore has been a perfect example of great appreciation. And if you go on the other side of the, events like New Delhi, we've seen some value drop in the last couple of years.
Right.
How do you think the market is going to be doing in the next couple of years?
I think the markets are cyclical.
Right, of
Across
course.
the globe, they follow the same pattern. And the universal pattern that they follow is simple, known to us, supply and demand.
Right.
More supply, less demand, less supply, more demand. So right now, if it's a market that has oversupply, the prices are going to be more realistic. Vis-a-vis a market where there's undersupply in the market and, there's a requirement of space.
Right.
And India currently needs about 30 million homes.
Right.
From a perspective of local growth itself, we're not dependent on the international markets to make money or lose money, because the demand for property, real estate in India has always been there, and it's considered to be even more now with the economies opening, the middle class getting into a better quality of jobs, better quality of life, first-time home buyers, and so on and so forth.
Anubhav, you want to open the line?
I'm thinking of that because I think this is going really interesting. So people who are listening to us, please call us on the studio number 73229798886. It's for you. You can call, and it's amazing time when you can talk to the person from India, and he can give you all kind of suggestions. You have questions, 73229798886. That's our number in the studio. So please call. This is Real Estate and More with Rajeev Rajpal, and we have Farook here from India. So this is amazing. So yeah.
Okay, so we were talking,
we have a call.
All right,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Let's take a call.
Good morning. Who's this? Hi.
Yeah, this is Hiten Patel.
Hi, Hiten.
How are you?
Good.
Good, Hiten. What's your question?
Yeah, question is like if you invest in India and if you buy some property for investment and when you sell it, so how about the taxation? The tax, we have to, on the profit, we have to pay tax there, right?
Right. I think we want to talk about India taxation policy on that a little bit, maybe?
Yes. There's capital gains tax across the globe, whichever part of the country you are, whichever part of the world you are. But the Indian taxation is very simple. They have a percentage and the period of hold. If you're a person of Indian origin or a non-resident Indian, depends on which category you fit in. There is an indexing method, and it gives you a slot of benefits that you can obtain before you pay tax. Your expenses can be written off on, suppose you've bought a property, remodeled it, stamp duty, brokerage that you have paid, whatever the monies that you've incurred or are about to incur can be written off. So, and capital gains tax on a long-term basis is not very high. If you go by the indexing method, you might not even pay 10% depending on your holding period. If yours is a historical cost, and you might pay under 8 to 10%, and the kind of returns that you make are phenomenal.
Okay.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling it in.
Yeah.
Second question is, if you pay tax there, you have to pay again tax here also on that profit? If you bring the money here back?
Rajeev.
It is a possibility because U.S. and India have tax agreements where the income may be taxable here, possibly, but if you've paid taxes in India, there might be a waiver that your CPA might be able to do. I would connect with your CPA to see that, but there may be a waiver you may be able to get because that money's already been taxed on in India. So India has a treaty with U.S. So you want to talk to a CPA on that to be very sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So people who are listening to us, this is the right time to call 732-297-9886. That's our number in the studio. We are taking all these questions related to properties in India. If you are thinking of investing and how you should invest, where you should invest, all those sorts of questions you can ask 732-297-9886. That's our number in the studio. Yeah, Rajeev.
So we were talking about bringing the money back and forth also. You were telling us that now it is a lot easier to bring the money back, actually. The laws have been laxed a little bit from India.
Yes, Raj.
So is there a limit to it, like how much you can bring in, or there is no bar?
If it's a sale of property, it can be even $1 billion. There's no restriction.
Oh, there's no caveat,
But,
okay.
Yeah, if you have a property in India and you've sold that property, then you can bring all that money here, provided you pay the capital gains tax. There is absolutely zero problem on that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Wow.
That's really nice. Okay, that makes sense.
As an Indian citizen, you're allowed to bring $200,000 per annum, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
So you're
That
restricted.
is, if you're a family of 5, husband, wife, and 2 sons and a daughter, 5 people, you can bring $100 million in the month of 31st March, and on 1st April you can bring another $1 million.
Oh,
right.
31st March.
Okay.
So $2 million within a period of 1 week can be shifted from India to your bank in any part of the globe legitimately, without any problems. $200,000. Now, a lot you can do with that money, and for investing into business, you can bring in as much as you want.
Okay.
There's no restriction. If you're buying a company, acquiring a company, any amount of money can be invested, depending on your balance sheet, your credibility, and your net worth. Shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
That's how most multinational companies are bringing in money. The Indian companies have bought the largest hotels in New York. They've bought big automobile companies in Europe, big steel companies across the globe.
So everything is going in good, right direction. So if you have questions, I would say there's few minutes left. 732-297-9886. That's our number in the studio. I'm sure people are listening very carefully. They're just listening to our conversation. They want Rajeev to ask more and more questions. They know he has really good ones. So Rajeev, you can go ahead with your question.
Going ahead, we were talking about investments in commercial properties. Farook, you said you can almost get 9% plus return in some of those properties. And we've seen BlackRock Group basically invest a few $1 billion in the last 2-3 years in India in commercial real estate. Now, those are the kind of groups that are very large and they have the resources. But as an individual, when somebody is buying a property in India, how does the management of that work? Because if they're looking to buy for investment and they're going to buy something residential or commercial, how does that management work of that property?
Well, to begin with, there are property management companies, companies that you deal with, who would assist you in doing this business. Let us assume you buy a property through us in any part of India, whichever city you are in. Our company takes care of this, manages it for you for a certain small fee, takes care of all your tax situations, your contracts with the tenants.
And that's
beautiful.
A to Z. I mean, we give you a total solution all under one roof.
Oh,
Wow.
That's interesting. That's really
don't
nice.
necessarily need to buy through us, but like us, there are many companies across India who would be able to assist you in this.
Awesome.
Who would be able to guide you on this, and that's not a problem anymore. There's a lot of reliable companies out there who would be able to assist you and handhold you through this whole process.
All right, let's take a quick
We
call.
have a listener. Good morning. Who's this? Good morning. Oh.
Okay, we lost him.
We lost him. So yeah, if you are listening, you can call us again. We're kind of listening to the question and the answer. So in case if you feel like you want to call again, 732-297-9886 is the number. Good morning. Who's this? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, my question was, similar to what you guys were mentioning. So it's basically, is there any consulting services or, some
As Mr. Mahmood mentioned, he owns a company that does that also there, but there's, as he's also said, there are similar companies all around the country that do it very easily under one roof, or there may be multiple companies doing different services. There are multiple companies there.
Can we get the details of this company?
Yes, Silverline Group you can search for on the web, or Silverline Realty. Silverline Realty also, if you go and search on the web in Bangalore, you will see a lot of information on that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's take another call.
Good morning. Good morning.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, let's take the
Good
next.
morning.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes.
hi.
Hi, I have a question.
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
As an NRI, can we buy agricultural property in India?
Oh, that's a tricky question.
I don't think so. That is something which
Mr. Mahmood, as an NRI, can somebody buy a agriculture property?
No and yes.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you why. First, I'll answer you the no part of it, and then I'll answer the yes.
Okay.
If you're a person of Indian origin from certain states, like Tamil Nadu, you might be able to buy agricultural property. But if you want to buy some land in Karnataka, you can't, unless you have a patta. That means your parents or grandparents or great-grandparents owned agricultural land.
Okay.
And not necessarily that you still need to own that land.
Wow.
But if you had that, then you could possibly invest into agricultural land.
Wow.
But there are constraints. Your income should not be more than this much. You need to, show that directly your descendants have owned this property. So there are a lot of legal nuances that one should get into before buying agricultural property.
Okay. We have one more.
Different states, different laws are applicable. Different cities, different laws are applicable. So it is yes and no.
Farook, we have one last question. I think somebody's here. Good morning. Who's
very
this?
quickly,
Very quick, because we have just 1 minute. Yep.
Yes, hi. I have a question. I have a piece of property in India, and very close relative of mine was involved in selling it. Then the deal broke down, and he didn't like that. And now, whenever I think of selling it, he tries to create one
Problems.
problem or the other.
That's a tricky question. I don't think we have enough time to answer that question. And
Good
I know
morning.
there is a lot of lines lit up right now.
Yeah, go
Raj, I
ahead.
can answer the question for you in a simple way.
We have land in Pune,
Uh-huh.
outskirts of Pune,
Uh-huh.
and should we sell it or should we hold on to it? I would like to
Okay, Farouk, your take on it.
Okay. My serious advice to you is do not sell real property, real estate, any part of India.
And we have on demand Rajeev Rajpal and Farook with us, and I really want to thank them. Before we went on break, we kind of were getting lots and lots of calls, so I just on demand they're sitting here with me. Once again, welcome back, Rajeev, and it was a pleasure to have both of you, Farouk especially, for all those information, those interesting information which people would love to hear more and more.
Well, I think what we'll have to do is get Farouk back with us one of these days, even from India possibly, because there was I saw the amount of lines that were lit up and the amount of calls that were coming in. We had almost every line in the studio lit up actually. So there was a lot more questions that we were not able to answer.
Yeah.
So I think we'll have to, once Farouk you land up back in India, we'll have to get you on the line again one day.
Yeah, we will do that. That would be really interesting. Yeah.
But in the meanwhile, I guess, Farouk, how does somebody track the information? And there was some questions, how do we find a management company? How do we find a real estate company? And it seems like you have a network of almost all of those solutions under one roof. So how does one track you down, or what would be the best website possibly where they can log into and get more information?
Okay. We call ourselves the supermarket of in real estate. You can pick and choose what you want to, but I'll just give you a couple of telephone numbers, email IDs, and website addresses that you can reach me in.
Yep.
First, let me give you my personal email ID. It's farok.mahmood@gmail.com. That's farook.mahmood@gmail.com. Or you can reach me at farook@silverlinerealty.com. FAROOK@silverlinerealty is one word. SILVERLINEREALTY.com.
Wonderful.
Or you can look us up at www.silverlinerealty.com. Or you can reach me on my personal mobile number. I'll make sure that somebody is there to handhold you through this process. It's +91 98 450 14317. I repeat, +91 98 450 14317.
Wonderful. It's a lot of information. And, again, folks, if somehow you're driving, you're not able to write it down, send me an email. I'll be glad to email all his information because you know how to track me down, rajmortgage.com.
Yes, and his number is 718-982-1725, so there won't be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can just get in touch with Rajiv and he'll help you.
I'll be glad to direct you into Mr. Mahmood's direction.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think Raj is your man, go-to man in New York, and he'd be the person who you should approach first, so that if you come through him, it'll make things a lot more easier. I know where you've come from.
Yeah.
He can keep a track on things, and I can keep a track on things, and we now are looking forward to a mutual business relationship. So I think it would be a good thing. Contact Raj, and I'm sure he's the go-to man for whatever you need in India or in the US.
Oh,
thank you, Babuji. So I really appreciate you taking the time out. Really, really thank you. And as I said, I think we'll have to get you back again because we had multiple lines still, calls were coming in still. So
we want you definitely
maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll probably have you back on again. But
wonderful. It'll be my pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Farookji.
Have
a great day.
Thank you.
Take care.
Yeah,
Bye-bye.
take
Bye-bye.
care. And Rajiv, we'll see you next Tuesday.
Yep.
And all those people who want to track down Rajiv, you know how to go. His Facebook page is Real Estate and More with Raj, and his website is rajmortgage.com. His number is 718-982-1725. Thank you for coming in and making our show more and more interesting. I'll see you next Tuesday. So all those people who are right now with me, you are listening to EBC Radio Network, and you can surely listen to more and more. Today we are going to have something which is called deals on dials, and that's what I promised you guys. All those people who are right now here, I said कि हम कुछ करने वाले हैं. क्या करने वाले वो जरूर बता रही हूँ आपको. फिलहाल 8:42 हो रहा है. टिक टॉक on the